quick, some real quick introductions for everybody, or for those of us that will be kind of participating in this and helping lead it today. I think all of you know myself. I'm going to take an opportunity to also introduce Nikki, who is our communications coordinator, and will be helping. So the beginning part of this is going to be some question and answer with Fred and talking about what he's been doing since graduation. And then we'll also open it up, that I'll be doing with him. And then we'll also open it up for questions. And so anything that comes up during that time, feel free to throw it in the chat, any thoughts or ideas or questions you have. And Nikki will be keeping track of those, and we'll bring those back up during question and answer time. Also, if there's anything that sparks your thoughts or attention or other topics, we're hoping to do this a few times throughout the year with other graduates, also with Wesley College staff. And so if there are topics you're specifically interested in that you think would be a good 30, 45-minute conversation with a student or a staff member, feel free to put those in the chat as well, and we'll be keeping track of those. And so from there, let me go ahead and kind of introduce Fred. I had also planned an introduction of Wesley College, but looking at the group and participants, I don't think that's necessary. So we're going to go ahead with Fred. Fred, are you still on with us?
Hello, greetings here from Tanzania.
Oh, thank you. So as you all hopefully saw in the email, Fred Michael is a graduate of Wesley College and is here today to share some of his experiences with us. So Fred, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit of who you are and your time at Wesley College.
Thank you, Reverend. My name is Fred Michael. Okay, let us repeat. My name is Fred Michael Masele from Mwanza City here in Tanzania. First of all, I'm very happy to meet with you guys today. And I was joined at Wesley College in 2018, and I was graduating my diploma in theology 2020 November. So I'm very happy to be part of this discussion now today. In short, the knowledge I get from Wesley College help me to achieve many things in my life. You know, when you go there at the college, you expect to get knowledge in order to help the society. To me, I believe that education is not for me, but education I get is that or is important to share for the people. So Wesley College is one of the best college here in Mwanza, because you can see many of young people when they finish at Wesley College, they move in different places in order to help the community and the society. So when I was done in my diploma level, I was back at home, and when I was back at home, I was trying to think what I can do to help my community or my society. So the ideas was coming for me is to empower the youth in my community. That's why I was stand to speak in different places when I was invited, and this was my happy to share what I know for the people, especially in village and in town. So
Fred, can I
I
ask
want,
you Fred, sorry to
yes,
interrupt. So I had a few questions for you about that.
yes.
And specifically one of the ministries that I know that you have been working on and helping lead, which is Yatosha. Can you tell us a little bit of what Yatosha is?
Okay. Yatosha, Yatosha is the ministry here from Tanzania. The name Yatosha was coming when one day we are the youth of the church. We was sit and discuss what we can do to touch the life of the people in our community. So one of my friend called Nyasinde Pablo, he was trying to share the story from his father. He was already passed away. He was told that my father was planned to start the ministry, but he did not succeed because he was already died. So if we want to save the community, I have the name here. We can use it, and I can explain for you guys, and then we can see if we can use this name to save the community. So then the name was called as is Yatosha. So what the meaning of Yatosha? Yatosha means enough, enough for the discrimination for the people in need, especially the deaf people. So we started we was started to light the guideline who will help us in our ministry. So our mission for the Atosha called love of God in His people has been the core concern to our mission. And then we continue in the vision. Our vision is to investing in a deaf and the hard of hearing people to build the community. Our statement is providing help and hope too for the with deaf while sharing Jesus Christ. And our core values in our Yatosha, Yatosha Deaf and the Hard of Hearing Ministry committed to providing inclusion, equality, and participation, integrity, solidarity, respect, and a learning environments. And then we have a rule and objective in our ministry. Alleviating poverty and compassion, reaching disabled with gospel, building self-reliant to deaf people, and educating the community to value and love the deaf, to build the capacity for social acceptance and even trust in leadership position. And last one is to build leadership skills to the deaf. This is the one of the important thing we are doing in our ministry.
And can you tell me a little bit about the deaf and hard of hearing community in Tanzania, especially the youth that you've encountered? Being deaf or being hard of hearing in Tanzania, what is their life like?
When in Tanzania, the life of the deaf people is very difficult because people are separated and discriminated. They doing bad things for these people. So that's why we are continuing to visit in the village to send the education and the schools about the light of deaf, because what we understand that deaf is the people who are equal share or participating for anything they think that we can share for the society. But in our country, people they see deaf people. It is not. They see people is a bad people, or is the people who are not any light for this world. But what we are trying to tell them is that deaf people is very, very, very important in our life, because they have the power to do something. And then we are trying to we are trying to give them we are trying to give them to empower them, in order to understand that God is love them, and we are trying to tell them to escape fear, because when you have a fear, is very bad. So this is what we are doing. But now we see the changes in our community. When we go to visit, you see people, they come and they give you the brief about what is going on in the community. And I know here in Tanzania, the government now is help us everywhere we go. So this is what we are doing here in Tanzania.
You mentioned wanting to make sure that that the deaf community is empowered, that they have educational opportunities, and that they can be confident and not be afraid of being part of the community. Can you tell us a few of the specific programs or initiatives that you all are doing in that direction?
Yes, one of the problems in our community, especially for the deaf, is sign language. Sign language is a language deaf people using in order to communicate. But many of people in our community, there is no any ideas about sign language. So we are trying we are trying to take the teacher and to go there at the schools, at the village, and the teacher trying to teach people, especially the family who live in the deaf people, in order to know sign language. Because if you can know sign language, there is no way you can communicate with deaf people. With deaf people, so sign language is one of the problem in a lot of the community here in Tanzania. Mm-hmm. Because last year I was going to visit one of the village here in Mwanza called Sengelema. One of the challenge I see is you can see all the family, they use natural talking, not sign language. So this is one of the problems. So what we are trying to do is to go with teacher in order to trying to teach them to understand the sign language, in order to be easy to communicate with deaf people. And a second challenge we see in our community, many of deaf, there is no any jobs. They sit at home. So when needs something, they get a lot of challenge. So last year, last month, I was go there at Sengerema. I was going at Sengerema, and trying to empower them in irrigation schemes, in order to plant cabbages, mchicha, in order to get their own money, can help them in our life, in their life, because you see, the work is very important. It's very difficult for the deaf, and people to trust the deaf to give him work is very important in our community. So what we are trying to do for them is to make sure that we are building the way and the good environment in order to help them to get the knowledge, in order to use his knowledge to get money. In Dar es Salaam, we are already buying something called the cheleani and the wedding machine,
yeah,
in order to start to learn and to get knowledge and to get knowledge. Thank you.
So it sounds like youth empowerment is a big part of your work and your platform and your focus. I want to show a short clip of you. And since you all have not met Fred before and you can't see him, unfortunately, because of the power cut there in Mwanza, he is going to be the second from the right in this clip as you're looking at the screen. And this is a TV interview that you did. I'm going to play it, and then tell us a little bit about some of the work outside of Yatosha that you are doing for youth empowerment there in Tanzania.
Kwamba ni wakati mwafaka wa mchakato wa Baraza la Vijana wa Taifa uthibitishwe ili uanze kufanya kazi, ili tuone vijana hawa wakipeleka mawazo ya vijana wenzao mbele. Tunaona Kenya, tunaona Uganda, tunaona Burundi, tunaona Uganda, tayari wana sera na katika michakato ya katiba zao wanatambulika. Na sisi Tanzania sasa tunahitaji kuwe na sera ambazo zinatambulika kwenye katiba yetu. Ili vijana hawa sasa wawe na nafasi ya kuweza kuisemea nchi yao, wawe na nafasi ya kuweza kuwakilisha kero zao na kuweza kusikilizwa, ili sasa tuweze kuipata hiyo Afrika ambayo tunaitaka, Afrika tunayoitaka.
So that was a TV interview that you did talking about some of the government policies that would help youth empowerment. And we don't have to get into specific policies. Being an American audience, it's going to be hard to follow some of that. But tell us a little bit about your work in advocating for youth in Tanzania in general, even outside of the deaf community.
Thank you, Reverend Erica. Let me finish about our ministry at Yatosha. In Yatosha, I'm the general secretary and the treasurer. This is my title in the Yatosha ministry, and we have a big dream in our Yatosha. We are already by 5 acres, and we are planning to build a school for deaf, and to build the training center will help the deaf to get the knowledge, because what we are doing in Yatosha, in short, we want to touch. We want to touch the life of deaf. We want to touch the life of the people who are in need. This is my calling, and this is what I want. And when I am doing that one, I see happy in my life, and I get a lot of power to continue to continue in different area to do this ministry. So this is what we are doing. In empowerment youth here in Tanzania, what I'm doing, it is true. I'm woman rights activist and youth empowerment in Tanzania, especially Lake Zone. You know, our youth, the very challenge in our youth when they graduate at school, there is no any ideas can start their own businesses or can establish something in order to achieve in his life. So what I'm trying to go there at the television to do some interview when I receive the call the call from the journalist is to empower the youth in our community to stand alone and to do something important for the society, because what we understand the youth is the leader of today and tomorrow, not the leader of tomorrow. The youth is the leader of today and tomorrow. So what I'm trying to empower them to get confidence, to stand in front of the people and to explain anything they think can share in the people. So this is what I'm doing, and my calling is to make sure that the young people get light dependence and stand their own. This is what I'm trying to do. But in our country, we are struggling to make sure that our government establish there's something called the National Youth Council, to be a body that will deal with youth problems. You know, we are here in Tanzania, we have the problem. The policies about youth, they go. The member of parliament, they're going to discuss them, but the youth, they never get the chance to discuss their own problem in order to stand for the government. So what I'm trying to tell the government is to establish the National Youth Council, in order the youth can come together and discuss their own problem, and then can send the problem for the government, and when the government says they get it, can come to solve the problem of the youth. So this is what I'm trying to speak in different places, in different areas, and I'm happy to do that.
So, I mean, that's very impressive work that you're doing both in Yatosha and also on behalf of all youth in Tanzania to help create space for them, as you said, to learn to be independent and to have an opportunity to be financially independent. Tell us a little bit, how did Wesley College prepare you for this work? Well, I'll ask one or two more questions and then we'll kind of open it up and see if anybody else has some questions for you. But tell us a little bit of how Wesley College inspired you or prepared you for the work that you're doing now.
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. I like it. The foundation I got from Wesley College helped me to change my thinking and the thoughts. This is what I learned from Wesley College. My thinking now is changed. My thought now is changed. I see extra mile what I'm supposed to do. And the cause I was like to study at the Wesley College was servant leadership program. This was the best cause, was helped me to be here. And second cause I was liking was theology of development. Theology of development and the social justice and the Christian ethic. These three causes help me to stand here and to share the story about empowerment yours, about what I'm doing in my society, about many things I'm planning to do in my vision. So when I'm trying to share about Wesley College is the one of the best college, because when I see 2017 and now I see I'm different with other people. I'm seeing different, because when I was done in my diploma level, I will think to continue with my bachelor in theology, and this is what I wanted to do, but the question was coming from my heart, Freddie. Now you want to continue with bachelor, but can you share your diploma level for your society? Just to share, and then you will continue to study again. So I was stopped to continue with my education, and I started to empower people, to empower youth, to help those in need, especially deaf. So now I'm free. I can go to continue with my bachelor degree in theology, and then I can continue to speak and to be voice of the voiceless. Thank you.
Thank you. Last question, and just to think through some specifics of what you're saying. You mentioned the servant leadership course and program. Can you think of anything specifically within that course, or within the other courses that you mentioned, that you now use? A leadership skill that you learned, or a specific thing that you learned that you now get to use in the work that you're doing?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. I was just wondering if there's something specific you learned in your servant leadership course, or theology of development, or Christian ethics, that you get to use now. If you can give us an example, I guess is what I'm saying, of what you learned that is now being applied to your work.
Okay. In servant leadership program, what I learn is a good leader. A good leader must sacrifice yourself for others. The good leader must sacrifice yourself for others. This is what I learned from servant leadership program. In the theology of development, what I was learning is about globalization. Globalization is very important for us. So we are applying globalization to help people. We because you can see now I'm the leader in Yatosha here in Tanzania, and then every week I have a meeting with people, and we are trying to discuss from different countries. We are discussing about what we can do in our ministry, and I'm trying to share for the people the work I'm doing. So you can see when I'm talking about theology of development, still I see in the extra mile what we are doing. So globalization is the one of the important thing when I see theology development. And what I learned from social justice and the Christian ethic, when we talk about social justice and the Christian ethic, the one thing I learned is to stand and to oppose any discrimination for the people, because all people are equally. No one is equally than others, no matter is or are challenges or no or not, but all people are equal. So we need to stand to tell our community about equal for everyone. So I'm ready to stand everywhere to tell people, stop discrimination for others. We need to protect the others through applying social justice and a Christian ethic. As we Christian, we are supported to open we are supported to open what I'm trying to say. We are supported to open. We are supported to talk, not to stop to talk. We are supported to talk every day. When we see that something is going wrong in our community, in our churches, we are supported to talk. When we stop, that is not ethic. The good Christian is a person who stand and tell people the truth, no matter what. And this one I was learning from somebody called Martin Luther King Jr. When he was he was stand to oppose something bad for the society. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing what you're doing and how your time at Wesley College influenced the work that you're doing now. We've got about 15 minutes left before our lunch hour is over. Are there any questions, any other questions for Fred Michael before we kind of wrap up?
Yeah, this is Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for all these details, Fred, and I really appreciate the work you're doing. As a little side story, I know Pablo as well as his late father Levi from my trip back in 2015 or 14, having worked with them in Tarime. So I totally can relate to the work you're doing there, and I'm in touch with Pablo as well on the work he's doing. So very good initiative and very appreciated. And my question is a bit related to how you transition from being a student at Wesley and how you and your fellow pastors, social workers, and so forth are entering the work age, so to speak. My work with the pastors in Tanzania has shown me that often pastors are not a well remunerated position and maybe not at all. And so I see a lot of pastors and other people having side jobs to basically provide for your living conditions. How have you managed to go through that transition, and how do you basically can survive on what is often a relatively low income while you're doing all this good work for, in your case, the deaf people and so forth? How has that worked out for you?
And Fred, let me know if you need, and I know we had kind of said, you know, questions can kind of sometimes be difficult to 100% understand. If you need any help translating, let me know, going either direction.
Okay. Ninazungumza kwa Kiswahili alafu uta translate.
Sawa.
Okay. Kwanza ninakushukuru kwa sababu umefanya kazi na babake Nyasinde, mchungaji Levi.
First of all, I'm excited to hear that you knew Pastor Levy and had worked with him.
Yeah.
Ninashukuru sana. Ni kweli kwamba mazingira ya wachungaji wa hapa Tanzania sio mazuri sana. Ninawezaje kumanage kufanya vitu vyote hivi? Ukweli ni kwamba nilikuwa na biashara ambayo nilikuwa nafanya, na nilikuwa ninapata muda kwa ajili ya kwenda au kwa ajili ya kusema haya masuala ya kijamii na kuyasimamia.
So what you're talking about is true. Pastor salaries and social worker salaries or community worker salaries in Tanzania are very small. What I did to support myself is I had a small side business, so I would take some time and do that, and then I would also set aside time to do this other work.
Kwa hiyo ninaamini kwamba swala la kiuchumi ni jambo muhimu sana unapokuwa tunafanya huduma, lakini hatuwezi kufungwa mikono kwa sababu ya uchumi kushindwa kuwahudumia watu wengine wenye uhitaji.
And so we can't ignore the economic components of the work that we do, or needing money to be able to live. But at the same time, we can't, just because the economy is hard and difficult, we can't kind of close our hands and stop doing what we're doing to help those that need it.
Moyo wa huduma unatoka ndani ya mtu, hautoki nje ya mtu. Kwa mtu yoyote mwenye moyo wa kufanya huduma, haijalishi anacho au hana, itamlazimu kufanya, japokuwa swala la kiuchumi ni muhimu kuliko vyote.
And so the motivation to help others comes from your heart. And so it's not about receiving external motivation from a salary or financial incentives. If you have the heart to help people, you will find a way to help them. But not having the financial support does make things more difficult. It is very important.
Ninaamini sana kwenye kuanzisha biashara, kwa sababu nikianzisha biashara zitanisaidia sana kuwa free kufanya mambo yangu mengine ambayo yanahitaji niyafanye kwa ajili ya kuisaidia jamii.
So I'm also still working on starting another business or expanding my business, and for it to be successful and grow so that I have more resources to help others.
Asante.
I do have a follow-up question, but I'll open the floor to others to ask questions as well, so I don't want to monopolize. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Paul, go ahead.
No, we don't have any other questions at this time. So Paul, go ahead. I did have a question, but it's on a different, it's just more of a logistics. So
Well, go ahead.
you can go ahead.
And,
Oh, no, I was just curious, Fred, not Paul. What is the population of deaf and hard of hearing where you are? Is it a large group, a small group?
Fred, did you get that?
Yes, I get it.
Okay.
Wingi wa viziwi, wakubwa, watoto na saizi ya kati, kwenye shule yenye wanafunzi 1000 kuna viziwi 40 mpaka 50.
That's more than I thought. That's not what he said. That was my reaction to what he said. So he was saying, it varies, but obviously there are deaf that are older, school age and younger, but they work with a lot of schools. And so if a school has 1,000 students, 40 to 50 of them will be deaf or hearing impaired.
Lakini hiyo ni kwa shule zile maalum.
That makes sense. So these are for special schools that have deaf students. Not every school has
Okay.
deaf students or accepts deaf students.
Okay.
So unakuta ni shule ambayo ni shule ambayo ina watu ambao wanasikia, lakini ina watu ambao hawasikii na walemavu wengine ambao wenyewe wale walemavu wanakuwa wanakaa pale pale shuleni, lakini hawa wengine wanasoma na ambao wanasikia wanasoma na kurudi nyumbani.
So there are special schools in Tanzania for people with a variety of disabilities. And so you will also have blind students and other students there. You will have students that stay for boarding if they are handicapped and mobility is an issue. And you will have, but the deaf students tend to be day students, come and go.
Na shule kama hizo kwa Mwanza ziko 6.
So in Mwanza, which is a reminder, has over 2 million people, about 2.3, 2.4 million people. There are only 6 schools for students with disabilities.
Thank you.
Na kwa haraka, unaposema shule 6 ni za ngazi zote au shule ya sekondari?
Okay, naposema shule 6 ninamaanisha shule zile za sekondari. Shule hizi za watoto wadogo kwa maana ya standard 1 to standard 7 zenyewe ziko 4 tu.
Okay. So I was just clarifying what level. So 4 elementary schools and 6 high schools that accept students with disabilities.
Lakini chuo ambacho ni VETA, tunaita VETA, kipo Arusha.
But for vocational colleges that specifically train people with disabilities in practical skills and vocational skills, there's only 1 in the whole country, and it's in Arusha.
Samahani sana, leo katika mji wetu wa Mwanza hakuna umeme, ndio maana ni giza na nimeshindwa hata kuwasha kuonekana vizuri.
So he is, as we're wrapping up, Fred does offer his apologies and that he was not able to be on the screen with us today. Mwanza cut power this evening around 7 p.m. their time. It's now close to 10 p.m. Fred's time. Yeah. So he would love to have been here and for you all to be able to see him, but it was not possible this time.
Send pictures, Fred. Send pictures.
We do have some,
okay.
and yeah, when we put this up, and we will be, as I said, sending this back out to the same list, so that people who are not able to be with us today can hear. And we've got some good pictures of some of the time and the work that they've been doing.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for today, for taking this time. We're going to try to keep these sessions to kind of an hour lunch session, so we'll go ahead and wrap up there. But thank you all so much. And if, again, feel free to call me, text me, email me. I know specifically this group, you all have my contact information. Let me know what other topics may be interesting. If we want to stick with alumni and student stories, graduate stories, hear from staff about certain areas or certain projects going on. We're hoping to do maybe 4 or 5 of these throughout the year, every 2.5 months, to be able to just share some of the impact of Wesley College on students and on the community in Tanzania. So thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for the invitation.